about the one you're with. So I want to tell you a little story. There's a couple who had two little boys. They were ages 8 and 10, and they were always getting in trouble. If there was anything happening in town, any kind of trouble, you could be sure these two boys were involved somehow. And the parents, they're at their wits' end. They didn't know what to do with these boys. They didn't know how to discipline. They've tried everything they could think of, everything they were taught, and nothing was working. But then they heard about this clergyman in town who had very wonderful success in disciplining children. So they contacted him, and he agreed to see them. So they get to the church where this clergyman is at, and he asks to see the boys individually. The 8-year-old was sent in first. And the clergyman, he sat the 8-year-old boy down, and he looked him sternly in the eye, and he asked him, "Where is God?" And the 8-year-old boy, he didn't say anything. He made no response. Clergyman looked at him even more sternly, and he said, "Where is God?" Nothing. Nothing from the 8-year-old boy. No attempt to answer. So the clergyman then raised his voice, pointed his finger at the 8-year-old boy, and he said, "Where is God?" At that, the 8-year-old boy bolted out of the room. He ran all the way home, and he slammed the door shut into the closet. He ran into the closet, slammed the door shut, hoping to be protected, frightened to his very bones. A few moments later, his brother, the 10-year-old, comes into the closet. And he said, "What happened? What happened? What did they say? Are we in trouble?" The 8-year-old boy looked up, tears rolling down his trembling face, and he replied, "Oh man, we are in big trouble this time. God is missing, and they think we did it." Now, of course, God is never really missing. We're just looking the other way. We may be sitting in what sometimes is the swamp we call the human experience. Does that sound familiar to you? Do you ever feel like you're sitting in the swamp of human experience? Sometimes we sit there, we soak there, we wallow in there, and we excuse everything that's happening to us or from us or through us as a, well, you know, I'm only human, or he or she is only human. There's a great saying by Pierre Desjardins: "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience." Do you see the difference? We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We don't think of ourselves as just human beings. We think of ourselves, we know that we are spiritual beings at all times that just happen at this time to have a human experience. So how are we having our human experience? How are you having your human experience? Are you sitting in a swamp? Or are you allowing that waterfall of the divine spirituality flow over you, through you, cleansing you at all times, empowering you at all times? In 2017, the Centers for Spiritual Living, the organization we belong to, is focusing on the theme of values. And the August value is love, compassion, and caring. Now that value, sort of like the first two steps of treatment that we'll talk about later, that value, when you have that value, everything else seems to kind of click in. When you have love, compassion, and caring going on for yourself and others at all times, things seem to just click in, going great. See, we as a movement are saying this. We embrace love as the self-givingness of God to all creation, moving through us into expression as compassion, caring, mutual respect, and kindness. We express interest in and support for the well-being of ourselves and others. We express unconditional love when observing the suffering of others and do what we can to give aid and show compassion. So we as a movement, as an organization, as a philosophy, value not only ourselves, of course, but we value others. We value their individualization. They are just like each and every one of us. They are an individualization of God, using the healing and manifesting power of belief. They use their thoughts, their feelings, their mind, their heart to create a happy and joyfully loving and successful life. And this goes for everyone, even people you don't like. Even people that you look at and you go, how is it possible God is speaking through them? We value this is true for everyone because we know that there's only one mind. There's only one mind that each and every one of us, good, bad, or indifferent, as far as your personality goes, there's only one mind. To the degree that we allow ourselves to connect to it and work with it and through it, of course, shows what comes up in our lives. So I have a question. In everyday living, what is it we are dwelling on, accepting in the deepest of our core? Is it love and compassion for everyone and everything, even the people we don't like? Even the homeless person that comes to you every single day asking for money? The same guy or gal? Do we have love and compassion when we go home and are hanging out with our family at Thanksgiving? That can be a tough one. Do we dwell on our human experience or the spiritual truth? Or can we do both? So let's explore, because you know, all God's children got stuff. Everybody's got stuff. You got stuff, I got stuff. You probably have some secrets that you don't want me to know. And some people out there, like I was saying, are people that may not seem very likable. But all people got stuff. It's our ability to accept it, especially in ourselves, is our ability to step out of it. Now, in the Christian faith and in this philosophy, there's a triune nature, kind of a three-part nature of how things go on. And I want to talk about the triune nature of accepting what is our human experience. Because we're going to have a human experience no matter what. Sometimes it's going to be fabulous, sometimes it's going to seem not so fabulous, but we're going to always have a human experience. So accepting it and working through it is the key. So number one, accepting what is our human experience allows us to see ourselves and each other through the eyes of love. Our teaching is love and law. Did you know that? It's pretty simple. It's love and law. The self-givingness of the divine is the love, the unconditional love for each and every one of us, and the law of cause and effect, which uses our beliefs to bring into our experiences that which we desire. That which we have decided is going to show up. But so often, because we know about the law, and this happens a lot with people who are new to this philosophy, we want to science of mind people. Let me explain what I mean by that. You know, somebody will come up to you and, you know, they're just looking to vent a little bit or to not even to get an answer. And so many times people will turn around in their very own way, of course, and say, well, you know, you create your own reality. Or, hey, change your thinking, change your life. Or how about this one? If you don't like what you've been getting, change what you've been doing. Nothing changes if nothing changes. All very clever stuff. All very clever stuff. And we know, especially those of us who've been in this philosophy for a long time, we know that if they will simply change their thinking and understand their responsibilities for using the law of cause and effect in their favor, they would change their life. We know that. So we want to go, hey, just change your thinking. All that will go away. And it's true. It's true. I've said that on the pulpit almost every week, somewhere, somehow, in some little way, and sometimes in a big way. Yet this can be very challenging and a brutal response to someone in the midst of serious issues that basically just came to vent. I've learned that as I've learned that a lot of that, not so much in this philosophy as much as in my relations to women in the romantic life. Because I learned, and it helped that I was raised with two sisters, I learned not to fix. Don't fix. It doesn't matter if I have the greatest idea in the centuries of history. Don't fix. Listen with love and compassion. Now, I would never, in a counseling, 99% of the time, I would never in a counseling or a practitioner kind of situation say to somebody, well, you know, change your thinking, you'll change your life. See ya, right, you can leave the check here. No, I wouldn't do that. That's not my job, for one thing. Because I have to remember, we have to remember with love and compassion that others forget or simply didn't even know that who they really are and what power they really have over their lives. It is in that moment that they need from us just love, compassion, and caring, and kindness, not reminders of how to fix it. Now, in this instance, like I was kind of intimating before, it's mostly a guy problem, but not 100%. It's a human problem. It's a human condition to want to fix, to want to be the smart one, to help. It's not necessarily a bad thing. We want to help. We do care. We are being kind. Being present in compassion and love allows us, now this works for us, not just for our association with other people. It works for us personally too. Being present in compassion and love allows us and others to accept what is at the moment. And that's what's important here. It opens up the space to know that we don't have to stay stuck in the experience, that it too shall pass, and we'll create a new tomorrow. So we have to, in our personal life, we have to give ourselves a break. When stuff happens, when we do something accidentally, that's not so great. We make a mistake, we miss the mark, we gotta give ourselves a break. We gotta have love and compassion and kindness and caring for ourselves, because that stuff won't go away unless we do. Ernest Holmes and William Hornaday wrote a book called Help for Today, and they said we can have no understanding of divine compassion unless we ourselves first exercise compassion. The very judgment by which we judge others becomes a self-judgment. The very judgment by which we judge others becomes a self-judgment. It is as if the law of life were giving back to each one of us exactly what we have projected into it, as though everything that goes out from us must again return by law of action and reaction. Well, of course, that's what the law does. And you know, the law does that as we treat other people. If we treat other people like we're the smart ones, and what I say is going to make your life the best it's going to be, we're not, leaving space for them to find out on their own, which is where the strength of it is, when they find out about it in their heart. Because unless they believe it and know it and understand it in their heart, it doesn't get incorporated into their lives. Ernest Holmes also wrote a book with Raymond Charles Barker called Richer Living, where they said sympathy and compassion are the ties that bind us together in mutual understanding and the unified attempt to uncover the divinity in each other. Sympathy is the most gentle of all human virtues, for it is the outpouring of the divine givingness through man. So our acceptance of our human experience occurs in listening, not only what the other person is saying, but what we're saying to ourselves. Listen. Accepting our human experience also does a great thing. Number 2, it moves us out of resistance. Here's a Carl Jung little quip, which I'm sure you've heard, and maybe you've heard instead of wisdom, or in disguise of wisdom, which is what you resist persists. You heard that? In one way or another. I guess Carl Jung put it in the simplest of terms, but if you look around, there's all kinds of versions of it, but what you resist persists. What you put power in your mental work and your attitudes and your perspectives, what you put power into is what's going to keep showing up. What you're focusing about every day. And I'm not talking about your list and your goals, and I have to get up and I have to take the kids here, and I got to pick up the medicine, and I got to do this and that and the other. I'm talking about, like I said, your attitudes and your perspectives. Do you see life for you or against you? Do you perceive that life is always a struggle and there's always going to be a challenge? Oh yeah, that's the facts. There's always going to be a challenge somewhere. I'm sure you've heard that. Well, maybe we're brought up with that. What do you perceive is natural for you in your human experience? Do you perceive your human experience as a woe is me life? Oh, woe is me. This always happens to people in our family. My DNA says I have to have this, that, or the other by the time I become this age or that age. Oh, I'm such and such years old, and so I can't have a new career because people don't do that. Oh, woe is me because I live in Los Angeles, and most people in Los Angeles, are just, they're just looking at what car you drive. And if I don't drive this fancy car, I'll never get a girlfriend. Woe is me. You have that kind of life? You have a wow is me life. Wow! My tire's flat. Wow! You know what's cool? I can get a new one. I can get a new one. Where's my phone? I'm going to call AAA or Better World or Nationwide or whatever car service, and they're going to come, and not only am I going to get it fixed, I'm not going to even have to touch it. I'm going to make a phone call. This great guy is going to come, probably a guy, is going to come, and he's going to lift the car up and put the little fake tire on, and I'm going to drive, and wow, I'm going to get a new tire. Or, no, late. They always take an hour to get here. Which life do you want? The wow is me life. Resistance. See, we have a tendency to think about what we don't want I don't want to be late. I don't want a flat tire, of course. Versus what we do want. I don't want to feel yucky. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to have this job. I don't want to have this marriage. I don't want to have blah, 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 whatever it is. I don't. So when we focus on what we don't want, we get into resistance, believe it or not, of what we do want, because we're pushing. We're just pushing. And when we push like that, I don't want this. It starts turning into hating and protesting and arguing, and there's a lot of weeping going on, and then eventually, and complaining, and eventually there's begging, fighting, struggling, and then the worst of all, probably resenting. Or we start ignoring the yucky situation. Oh, it's not there, it's not there. I won't go to the doctor, it's not there, it's not there. That's not what the science of mind teaches, by the way. If you've heard that phrase, turn away from the condition, that doesn't mean ignore the condition. Get yourself to the doctor. Get yourself to the teacher of XYZ if you need to learn about XYZ. Don't say, I don't want to not know this. You don't say that. You say, I want to know this, so I'll go out there, and Spirit will direct me into the area, to the place, to the person who's going to teach me what I don't know, or what I want to know. See, while resisting, while pushing against, we're focusing on what we don't want. We're effectively saying and vibrating to the universe, everything's energy. So these thoughts of, I don't want XYZ, is just vibrating everywhere, and the universe picks that up. And the universe is fine with that. The universe doesn't care if what you don't want and what you do want, because the universe is unconditional love. It'll give you exactly what you don't want or what you do want. So when you're thinking about what you don't want, the universe is going, okay, fine, that's great. I'll give you more of what you don't want, because that's what you're focusing on. What? No, you're supposed to give me what I want. Well, then you need to tell me what you want. And then we go around and justify this with reasons and excuses and stories and history, and the big one, blame. Blame. I don't have this in my life because of him or her or the government. So we're pushing. We're blaming. We're putting in the blame, so we're not taking responsibility. If we don't take responsibility, it acts in the same way as, I don't want this. The universe goes, okay, well, if you don't want to take responsibility, I guess that's what you really want, so here's more of that. Here's more of the woe is me. The resistance to stating what you want by focusing on what you don't want ends up making you hard. Your personality, your attitude, your perspectives about life hard and rigid. And like I said, we start becoming resentful because we didn't get it. It's like somehow thinking that I'll find love through hate. Not sure how that will happen. But I know that the universe is going to go, oh, well, all you're doing and believing is in hate. So that's what you want. You believe in hate, so I'll give you hate. Here's hate. Have more hate in your life. So that brings me to number 3 then. When we accept the what is, because you're undoubtedly thinking, or some of you, or one of you is thinking, yeah, well, what about this that happened to me? Or that happened to me? It matters not about whether it's positive or negative, good or not so good. At the moment, when we accept what is in the moment, we then create the possibility of moving forward in a new way, because we're not resisting. I'm not saying don't have an emotion about it. If the tire got flat, I may curse. Great. I needed to be in Antelope Valley 15, that's not going to happen now. Okay, I'm done. Now let's let the universe take care of it. That's the new way. Let your feelings go through your feelings. You're going to be pissed, you're going to be sad, whatever, that's fine. Nobody said not have your feelings. It's how long you hold on to those feelings. And the longer you hold on to those feelings, especially the negative ones, the more you're going to resent the situation and then lose your power to move forward. Moving forward by moving through it versus resisting it, which then turns into shame, blame, and guilt. And what does shame, blame, and guilt get you? Guilt, not guilt. Guilt get you. Big fat zero. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing positive, that's for sure. So, what I want us to do with this is practice non-resistance. There's a martial art called Aikido. And you've probably seen this if you've seen any kind of martial arts movie or any of your kids were into Aikido. They practice this non-resistance stuff. So, you know, they don't necessarily go in and boom, boom, boom and kick and slice and all that kind of stuff. They allow the energy of the force coming at them, they use that energy to move them forward. So they come at them, boom, 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 with swords and everything else, and they just move them forward. And eventually, the person that's doing this, they're going to get tired. You know, they come at with the knife, and you step aside, you take the knife, and boom, now who's in control? Because they used the energy of the condition, whether it's a person with fisticuffs or anything like that, or it's some other condition that's happening in your life. So I'm going to ask you, when you are non-resistance, to kind of be like the Bruce Lee of your life. And I'm going to go quickly through these because there's several of them that I found that are the tenets of the philosophy of Aikido. Most people think of martial arts. I feel like I'm good martial arts. I've never taken martial arts, but I'm understanding that the philosophy of it is more important than the actual doing this, that, or the other. Here's some of the philosophy. Be fully present and fully aware. Then nothing and no one can take you off guard. That doesn't mean being on guard doesn't allow you to have your feelings about the flat tire. Okay, flat tire. That sucks. Well, I know what to do. I'm making the phone call, and I'm letting the universe take care of everything else. In this instance, and in the eyes of God, maybe not in your life, but in the eyes of God, size doesn't matter. Like I said, you blend in with the energy of whether it's good or bad. You blend in with it, and then you can guide it and control it. You're not caring what others think. One of those, the four, what am I thinking of? I forgot the book, went right out of my head. But we're not caring what other people think. That's a really important thing in life. Not caring what other people think. Not so that you can just do what you want, but so that the four agreements, yes, the four agreements. Shoo. Came right back. Thank you. Because when you don't care what other people think, you empower yourself. And it gives you a powerful position. Be in harmony with the limitless spirit energy of the universe. And there's many ways, of course, to be in harmony with the universe. Meditation, spiritual mind treatment, which we'll talk about a lot after the service. Any of your spiritual practice brings you in harmony with the energy of the universe so that, like I've said before, you can vibrate at all times at the speed of the divine. In all ways, in chaos and in cosmos. Do not become defensive. You know, when we become defensive, that's when trouble starts. And sometimes it's hard to not be defensive, you know. People are saying nasty things to you. People are blaming you. You might be blaming yourself. You might be getting defensive about yourself or to yourself. But being defensive just brings more irritation, more fear, more impatience, and it starts clouding your feelings. And then you have to work harder to get through that in order to get centered and move forward. It's not about winning or losing. It's about collaborating for your greatest good. And if for some reason you didn't collaborate about your greatest good for whatever showed up in your life or another person's life, then you get to start over. When we remain calm, then we are open and allowing for the divine to inform us. We want to be physically and mentally balanced. We want to sustain good posture. You know, this is woe is me. This is wow is me. And if I'm facing a condition, or I'm facing another person with a condition that can be quite horrible, believe it or not, old wives' tale, maybe grandma said this or mom said this, if you have good posture, it changes. This is biology. This is not, oh, mom said that, stand up straight. This is biology. When you're standing up straight, the whole biology of your body, and especially your brain, changes. Another minister friend of mine likes to bring this out. You know the V in the symbol? This is powerful. They ever tell you about this? This taking the stance, the power stance. You do this for 2 minutes, it'll change. You going in for an interview for a new job, you're feeling a little, even though mentally you're intellectually you're saying, I'm prepared. I know what I'm doing. I got this job. I can do this job fabulously, and I deserve the money that they want to pay me for this job. But you're still feeling, you don't know the other person, and you're feeling a little bit, go into the restroom and probably into a stall, because you never know who's going to walk in, and you may not want to be seen like this, and do this for 2 minutes. It'll change everything that's going on in your head. Do not regard others or the condition as the enemy. As soon as we decide something is the enemy, now we're bringing resistance, we're bringing anger, we're bringing fear, we're bringing irritation, we're bringing the oh, woe is me thing into our lives. They're the enemy. Now I have to be aggressive. When you're aggressive, you're not in control. You're fighting, you're resisting. There's a gentleman called O Sensei in the Aikido world, and he said, I know not how to defeat others. I only know how to win over myself. We just have to go with the flow. You want more love in your life? You're feeling unloved? You're feeling a little lonely? First start with be compassionate with yourself. Because your anger, your sadness, your, oh my gosh, it's been so many years or whatever, only brings more emptiness, only brings more into your life. If you accept what is today, what yesterday was yesterday, you make peace with your loneliness. That doesn't mean you have to keep it. You make peace with it, then you can go out there and create the opposite. When love is flowing from you, when you love yourself, then you're vibrating at the speed of I am lovable, and there's no choice for that perfect person to show up and go, where have you been all my life? That's how it works. That's how the universe wants to know what you want, not what you don't want. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be unloved. Okay, what do I do with that? The universe is saying, okay, so you want more of that, right? I only know about what you want. So you want this doesn't make sense. So the universe needs to hear, I am lovable. Let's all say that together. I am lovable. I am lovable. And the universe hears that and goes, okay, you're lovable. So I'm bringing more love into your life. Okay, great. I'll do that. Not a problem. Life fills all space and spirit animates every form. But since you are an individual, even the spirit cannot make the gift of life unless you accept it. Life may have given everything to you, but only that which you accept is yours to use. A little more, Dr. Holmes and Dr. Barker. All this acceptance into our human experience, all this acceptance into living with non-resistance is the spiritual truth and is the science. What is Isaac Newton's third law of motion? Y'all knew this. You may not know it by the title, but you all know this. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. It comes back to you as you give. Accept what is the spiritual truth. It is impossible for you to receive that which your mind refuses to accept. If you desire to receive more, you need to consciously develop the ability to mentally encompass it. You make your life mean little and limit its possibilities when you refuse to accept the whole gift of God. Let me repeat that. I kind of mangled that a little bit. You make your life mean little and limit its possibilities when you refuse to accept the whole gift of God. When your human experience is based in your spiritual experience. That's when the magic comes. That's when the miracles happen. That's when the yucky conditions that sometimes show up because of some weird thoughts, who cares, don't want to go on a witch hunt why it showed up, but something showed up, that's how you get through that easily and gracefully. Our spiritual truth informs and flavors our human experience. Not to set us up for settling. No. We're not talking about settling. We're not talking about letting the universe happen to us. Like statistically stuff. No. We're taking part in it. We're taking part by accepting it and moving through it and moving forward. Do not be afraid to be the compassion to yourself and others. Accept the human experience of the moment and allow your love and compassion to grow, not only for yourself, not only for others, but for things that you don't like. When we put the power on not liking the things we don't like, that's when more of it shows up. So the answer to all of this is my talk title. Love the one you're with. That's you, and that's the people around you. That's your clients and your family, no matter how annoying they may be. That's everything. Love the one you're with. When you accept that, and you live with that, and through that, and as the basement, the floor, the foundation of everything else, then these human experiences that show up can easily flow through you, out of you, and allow you the power that is you to bring in what you do want in your life. Let's take a deep breath together. That's a lot to hear, that's a lot to take in. But let's know together that there is one mind, there is one mind, there is one mind, and that mind, and that power, that vibration, that illumination, that luminosity is in each and every one of us. That power of the sun, the Big Bang, the power of the Big Bang that started it all is right here Yes, it's right here in each and every one of us. And it glows and it vibrates and it moves through our heart mind, empowering each and every one of us to bring what it is we want. I focus on what I want. I focus on what is to be in my life as of now, whether I see it in front of me or not. I know what I want, and I allow the universe, because I know that is the job of the universe, to bring what I want into my life. Peace, love, prosperity, success. Creativity, health. It shows up as I focus. And it is now, from this moment on, that I focus on what I want. That I accept what may happen, but I focus on what I want, and I allow and know and believe and sit in that the universe brings it to me. I take my action and I allow Spirit to bring it to me. And knowing this and feeling this and focusing on this and living this and accepting this without an exception, I can be grateful and in thanksgiving, knowing and loving of life. Wow! Wow! Life is good because we made it good. As together we say, and so it is.